after, talking to some people, getting through that part, I had to do what's best for me. And it was to get out of that situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Life, Business and Bodybuilding. My name is Ryan. Thank you for joining me on the couch again today. I have a very, very special guest. He has travelled all the way from Adelaide, 8-hour drive, just to be here for the podcast. There is nothing else on over the whole weekend besides this podcast that he's joined me for. There is a national bodybuilding contest. He might throw his hat in there. He's got a decent rig. He could battle for the pro card. We'll see. But he's mainly here for this. He also happens to be Chris Bumstead's twin brother, the better looking one. And we all know who Chris Bumstead is, the alpha male of all males. Enough of that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeremy Allison.
Thank you for having me.
How you feeling, mate?
Feeling good, man.
Yeah.
Refreshed now today after the 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
Cruisy drive. We've done it a few times. Cynthia and I, and just nice little trip down. And, see family, friends, and obviously yourself.
The potty, mate. Help me
Jumping
build it.
on the potty. It's very exciting to be here. I've seen obviously all the other episodes that you've done, and it's a great thing. Very honoured to be a part of, for sure.
Thanks, brother. So there is the Nationals this weekend.
There is
a competition. Are you going to jump in and just see how you go?
Look, the podcast was the number one reason, but
Yes.
yeah, I'm like, look, I'm in decent shape. I might as well just throw my hat in there, like you said. And
You brought your bikini along with you for the drive, just in case. Yeah.
I
What
did.
colour?
Black,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
it makes me look skinnier. So that's what we're all about.
So Adelaide, let's go back a little bit.
Yes,
Not exactly the placing you were after. I think second or third you finished.
third. Yeah.
Controversially, we won't go there. But were you happy with how it was? Did anything go like to plan, not to plan? What's the deal with Adelaide? And then I guess transitioning into Nationals now.
Mate, the Adelaide, I was stoked. Happy, really extremely happy with how I look, because Taylor and I, all we were really talking about is how, where we competed last time, my first season in IFBB in 2023, and, doing so well there. Placings aside, all we wanted to do, just like anything in bodybuilding, you just want to improve yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who shows up on the day, it doesn't always matter about the trophy, all that sort of stuff, although it's great. At the end of the day, you're there for yourself. You want to show those improvements, and we did. We peaked perfectly. Nothing went wrong. New venue, a little bit different, I think, in that retrospect, but it's not something that necessarily should change the way you sort of bring that physique to stage.
Yeah.
The feedback that I got was essentially just to be a bit fuller. Because our conditioning and stuff like that, I believe, was probably the best on stage on the day. Depends on who you talk to.
Of
But
course.
bodybuilding, it's
I think so. No, I think you were. Yeah.
it's different opinions and everything like that, and I respect it. So, but our the conditioning wise is never an issue. And it seems like fullness has always just been not an issue, but something that we can always work on. So, took the feedback on board, and what we're going to do Nationals is definitely coming fuller, but still bring that conditioning that I've been known for.
It's almost like the conditions always been there, but it seems over the last year or two, the fullness and roundness and size has come back into it, like just
Yes.
that big 3D look sort of thing. It's very closely verging on bodybuilding again, but
Exactly.
where's the line? That's where I've struggled with it, right? Like, where's the line? Like, do you come in really, really peeled and conditioned, but then it's like, you're too grainy, you need to pull it back. How do you pull it back?
Exactly, and it's such a subjective sport, and when you think that you're going to bring this particular look and it's like, that should be good, it sometimes isn't. It just, judge's opinion.
Yeah.
Depends who rocks up on the day. You can't control that.
Yeah.
It was only myself as one SA guy. It was a very small SA show. A couple of guys from Queensland jumped in, and it's fine. Like, people are like, oh, you worried about this? And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm going to go to Nationals. I'm going to see these people anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good way to look at it.
There's no point bitching and moaning about people coming into state.
This should have been my title. Or,
It should have been mine. Like, I should. It doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, if you want to be the best, you have to put yourself up against the best.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. And it's something that I've struggled in my growing up. I've always been, still competitive, and there's always been a point where I've been worried about other people or their skill set, and for sports and stuff like that. And I'd always pull myself back and be like, nah, you're not quite ready, because he's going to be, or she's going to be, you, or like in whatever mindset you might be, or whoever. And it's always sort of stopped me from being able to push myself to be my best. And then, 2023, when I first did this IFBB show, I'm like, dude, if you want to be the best, you have to really push yourself. You have to go up against these names that, pro favorites and all these guys that you see on social media. And it's like, who is this guy from SA? Like, no, SA is not known for their bodybuilding or anything like that.
We've spoken about that a few times going back and forward, where you did slip into it a little bit, and I pulled you up and go, don't worry about anyone else. Go back to you. And you did that very quickly and very intelligently too. So.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah. And it's like, there's always going to be someone better than always. There's always... Unless you Chris Bumstead and you actually, like, you completed bodybuilding, like...
He's clocked it. He's just finished the game.
Yeah. Exactly. And, like, going back to, like, the criteria and everything like that, I've, I was wondering, it's like, now he's gone, there's no one like him.
Yeah.
No one with that same classic lines, and now that everyone's looking at, you would have seen the topic of, well, is Mike to bodybuilding, or is he classic, or, like, what is he? It's like, well, he's both.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, now what's the standard of classic? And, is it the conditioning? Is it the size? Is it the roundness? And it seems like everyone's sort of going, I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah. Well, because remember, I think it was, I remember last year when I did 30,000 shows, I remember Tony was introducing the judges, and, Brett, for example, as we know, was saying he loves condition on stage, where I think it was at Bev Francis, is that where she's like, I love size and roundness. So you've got one judge that really favors the condition, one judge that favors the size and roundness. And it's like, how do you meet that two in the middle? And it's, for me, I've always tried to come in with my strength, which is conditioning. Anytime I've tried to be big, full and round, I just lose the lines. So I'm almost a little bit better off flat. But that was the other thing I was going to ask you. So with the Adelaide show, the feedback was not flat, but just not as big around. So did you come in flat in the end, or do you think you came in like perfectly right?
Definitely. I've definitely was fuller than what I was when I first did my show in 2023. Obviously, more muscle as well had been gained in that year and a bit, but definitely could be fuller. The look we brought, like I said at the time, we felt was enough to take out the show. Obviously it wasn't, but that's okay. Bodybuilding, go back to the drawing board. What can we do now? Well, we can come in 10, 15% fuller.
Yeah.
Done. That's an easy fix. Whereas like genetic structure, muscle insertions, roundness.
There's so much of that we can change.
There's only so much you can change. Yeah. Exactly. And what I was going to say when you were talking about, you for yourself, like you get that really dry, grainy conditioning. But then when you try to play the size game too much, you lose that and you lose your lines.
Just watery. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's like you don't look the best, and then you won't get the placing compared to, playing your strength.
Yeah.
But why, some people are just naturally more rounder. Some people are going to be more dry and crispier. And, then you get those freaks who can just be both, and it's just one of those things where you have to work with what you've got.
Yeah.
So
what'd you weigh in Adelaide?
Weighed in at 100.3.
And what was your cap?
101.6.
So you're going to be pushing that, like, literally
probably
from the ground.
Yeah. But the thing is as well, like when when we weighed in at Adelaide, like I think 99.4 or something in the morning, had a meal, did the check-ins. At least it was nice and early, so didn't have to worry about trying to not drink anything, not eat anything. Made weight, no worries. Didn't have to take any clothes off or anything like that. So all sweet.
Yeah.
Kept the food in as normal. Woke up the next day. I was like 98.6 or something like that. I was like lighter. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. So like, the carbs have been good. I've been able to relax and everything like that. But we only really had the one sort of meal beforehand, like first thing in the morning, because we obviously worrying about trying to, not overspill or anything like that either. I suppose the only thing that was may have not necessarily gone our way was just a little bit rushed within about 20 minutes. I got caught up. It was like,
Again, out of your control though, right?
Exactly. It's one of those things out of my control. And, Taylor was with one of his other athletes who was doing men's physique. And I was like, then I'm getting told I need to start pumping up in like, we're going to be on stage in like 20, 25 minutes. It's like, what do I do? And he's like, quickly have some, some honey, some cracked salt, swig of water, start pumping up from there. So I started doing that. And then that was probably the only thing in the whole day where I felt sort of rushed, obviously trying to pump up, not overdo it, not fatigue myself, because going up against Dom, Josh, bigger guys, you're going to get through, some rounds, and you don't want to fatigue. You don't want to, lose your breath or anything like that either. So it's like trying to keep my heart rate down and all that sort of stuff too.
And your posing condition's good, isn't it? Like you've been working on that, right?
Posing conditioning has always been quite good. And those lights were bloody hot though too. Like,
I heard that.
Yeah, bloody hot. I had Andy.
You didn't sweat or anything, did you? Like you tanned in rubber or anything? Like it was pretty good.
Well done, luckily, Andy. From what you could see, but as soon as I got back off stage, it was like full pat down. Andy was like, got the towel and like fanning me down.
She's good.
And she's great. So shout out to Andy for helping me on that. But yeah, they were bloody hot lights. But yeah, it was.
Well, this arena is cool. Flemington, you'll love it. Flemington's great. The backstage is really cool. The lighting, I think, was still hot. I was very sick though, so I don't really remember much of it. I was passed out half the time.
Yes.
But beautiful stage, really cool arena. Like you can see people in the crowd, but not really. But backstage, and it's so well run. You love this venue. Really, really cool.
I'm excited for it. I think because of Adelaide, it was a different venue as well. There was, and it was nothing with the IFBB at all. It was the event managers and people opening up, and they were late, and they weren't, people getting locked out, people weren't coming in, and like, it was just a bit of a hectic morning, but they got it done as best as they could.
Yeah. So people may not realize as well. So how old are you, if I'm asking? 34, 35, 33? 30.
32.
Just rattled off so many numbers
I'm
there.
33
in all of them.
Yeah, 30.
So 33, but you're relatively new to the IFBB scene, right? So, and this is the thing where, 2023 came on board IFBB, South Australian title overall in Classic, and second
in True Novice, then second in Novice.
But in the overall in Dashi.
And then the overall,
second
in Dashi.
No, that was the year after. So Dashi and second, then Josh. So yeah, Josh wins his pro card last year. You've already beaten Josh.
Yeah.
So it's like you're right up there with the mix of like the top athletes in this country, which is really cool to see. But, and again, still relatively new. So before that was, dare I say, men's physique, Jeremy?
Was men's physique.
Yeah. How'd you go with that?
Pretty good.
Did you?
Yeah, pretty good. Lucky I had a good smile.
Why the transformation into Classic? Was it you wanted to be bigger, or you just the physique changed? I don't know how long you worked.
See, when I started getting into the bodybuilding and the competitive bodybuilding side of things, there was bodybuilding and men's physique.
Yeah.
And that was really it. And then back in, it was like the INBA days and then ICN. I think I just got out before I went to ICN, but it was INBA.
Yeah.
And they basically had bodybuilding, and I was like, and I'm not a very, the last thing I ever thought to myself was being, I'm going to get up on stage half naked, bronzed up, and pose in front of people. And I never thought I'd do it. And then something was like, you know what, I want to really try and push myself out of my comfort zone. And I'm glad I did, because then it brought a whole new confidence within myself that, you set your mind to something, you can do it. So I did my first men's physique, actually was men's fitness.
How old were you back here?
I would have been, I was like 2014 was my first ever show where I did men's fitness.
Yeah.
And it was my first bodybuilding show. I wasn't really being coached. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no water for 24 hours and I was being told to try and eat. This was my pump up meal: dry oats, honey and peanut butter with salt.
Great.
How can you eat that? You can't, by the way.
I was going to say you can't.
You can't. So I put a spoonful in my mouth, and it would just like, I looked like a dog with peanut butter on the roof of their mouth and just like trying to break this thing down. And then I'm saying, I can't break it down. Like, what can I do? And he's like, have water, swish it in your mouth, and then try and like wet your mouth to get it down. Could not work. I could not get anything down. And then he's getting me half drunk, like at backstage, the old vodka tricks. worked fantastically for my confidence.
Yeah.
Because I went on that stage and that was my stage.
Woo!
Oh, mate, like I rocked that stage.
Yeah.
Don't remember anything.
Works for Ronnie Coleman. About us.
Look, it wasn't the best experience, but I placed second.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was cool. I want to win. So I was like, give it a couple of years. Went back 2016, men's physique, still before, I believe it was still before Classic. Well, they didn't have Classic in ICN or INBA. So I did men's physique, much better, went with a better coach, much better experience, and I won that. And then, then a bit of a hiatus. I had 2 kids in between then and the 2023 show. I was with someone who wasn't very supportive in that regard. It was very fake. It was very, I want you to do this. But then as soon as it didn't benefit them, I had to pull back.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of times where I'm like, I want to do a show. Yeah, but you can. 2 weeks later, you can't.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of back and forth. And I get, being a father and everything like that, it does change your life in some or many, many ways. But, I don't believe, and this is just my opinion, you shouldn't put your whole life on hold because you still got to live your life.
Yeah.
Yes, you can live, you got your kids and everything like that. And I try to do everything I can for my kids while I can, the little time that I do have.
Yeah, of course.
But one thing I notice is particularly in bodybuilding, even though it's like individual, there is a massive support system that you need to be able to get through those times. Like anyone who has done a show will notice the emotional, physical, mental challenges that you face. And if you don't have the right support system, you're not going to make it. You're not going to do well. So once I got myself out of that situation, found someone who actually supports you unconditionally, sees your vision, sees your goals, and truly supports you. And I might get emotional, but
it's a part of it.
When you find that person, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And you could feel like you could break through walls.
Yeah. And
nothing can stop you. So I'm very blessed now.
Yeah, for sure.
And then moving to 2023, man, I felt it did so well. But then 2023 comes around and I'm like, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
Quick backstory. I used to be a semi-professional cricketer.
Yeah.
Got injured, all that sort of stuff. But I had the potential to play for Australia, play for my state, all that sort of stuff. But once again, restricted. And there was a lot of what ifs. What if I, continued on doing that? What if I took a chance? What if I went to England, play county cricket? I didn't want another what if in my life. So I wanted to do this show because I believe in my own potential. I believe what I can bring to the show, like to the IFBB. I believe I can, however long it takes, I believe I can do great things with it myself. Now that I've got a better support system, now that I've got a better partner who loves me unconditionally, supports me unconditionally, no matter how hard things get.
Yeah. Let me rewind a little bit on the previous partner, if you don't mind. What do you think that came from? Was it a jealousy on their part that you wanted to do so many things for yourself and the family or whatever at that point, but you said it was like held back from you? It's like not allowed to do that. Was it because you were essentially, conquering mountains and taking on the world because you had this aspiration to do things, but maybe the previous partner was just like, no, I don't want you to get too far ahead of me or something like that? Like, do you even know that? Is that even an appropriate question? Like,
look, it's, from what I can gather, possibly some jealousy of why can you do that when, look, if you got someone who has goals and aspirations compared to someone who doesn't, or their goals and aspirations don't always align with what you want, they're not going to let you get ahead of them, like you said.
Yeah.
And whether it's a jealousy thing, I'm not too sure. But obviously everyone looks at something different in their lives, different goals. Not everyone wants to be a bodybuilder. Some people are more than happy to live a particular life. I wasn't that person.
Yeah.
they weren't that person for me. And that's completely fine.
Yeah.
But I couldn't let someone like that stop me from achieving what I wanted to, because it was putting me in a very, very bad situation.
Yeah.
Constantly angry.
Yeah.
Like, could not share my emotions. We don't have time for your problems. Expectations of what a man should be like. An expectation of what a family man should be like. You can't have this. You've got kids now. And to some degree, I get it. But like I said, why do you have to stop living your life? Why does your goals have to stop? Look at yourself. You got businesses. You're constantly talking about new ways of how to improve yourself. But then you're balancing your kids as well. And that's exactly what I could do. And when you find the right person, or you have the right support, you can do that.
Yeah.
I have friends who have kids and they got supportive partners, and they, whatever it might be, bodybuilding, sports, business, their own work, things like that. They have supportive partners where they're able to understand and help you get through those things, help you achieve those things. And don't get me wrong, it's not always one-sided.
Yeah.
You have to bring that back to them as well.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a bit too selfish. We all know bodybuilding is a selfish sport. But you can't always just take. You also need to give. And it's about being able to balance that too. Communication, all that sort of stuff. Good understanding of one another. Having those talks, and having someone to be able to talk to and really understand where you're coming from, if that makes sense as well. Because then, it's just like, talking to a brick wall half the time, because you're like, I'm saying all these things, but I feel like you're not really getting it, so it's...
Even back in, 2023, when we first met,
Yes.
were you still with that?
No.
No, okay. So I'm sure there would have been a part where, you were in this relationship for a certain amount of time when essentially you didn't feel comfortable being in.
Mm.
Was there a thing where it was like, I'm staying here because I don't want to leave my kids? Was there a thing where it's like, obviously we don't have kids to not see them every day.
Yeah.
Right. So how was your mindset, I guess, around that point? Stop me at any stage. Knowing that if you were to go a different direction, I know what I'm going to walk into, and we've chatted about this, and that doesn't need to be said, but it's like, I don't get to see my babies anymore. They're the most important thing in my world. And I know that we've held them for a long time, but it's like, now I don't get to see them as much as I want. How do you cope with that?
It is a hard thing to deal with.
Difficult question, I know.
It is a very...
And from my point of view, it's the same thing. Like I 50-50 for mine, so I know it's a bit of a better situation.
Yeah.
But the 3 or 4 nights I don't have them, it's fucking horrible, bro. So yeah.
And it is tough, because you go from seeing them every single day to then seeing them, for me, like an overnight, a fortnight.
Yeah.
And it's not ideal. And with my work, everything like that, if I can have them more, I could.
Yeah.
I would. But certain things are being restricted from us. So there was a point where I'm like, I have to do it for myself to get out of a situation, because honestly, there was a point in my life where I was in such a dark place that nothing mattered. And I didn't even think about the kids. All I could think about is like, how do I get out? And it was not a good spot to be in. After, talking to some people, getting through that part, I had to do what's best for me. And it was to get out of that situation, because this conversation potentially wouldn't have happened today.
Yeah.
So moving forward, despite the sacrifice of not seeing my kids as often, I'm a much better father.
Yeah.
When I have my time with them.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more calm. I'm not as angry. And I'm so much happier.
Yeah.
Despite the situation. And each time I have the kids, we do everything that we can in those 48 hours or however long, and we have fun. We do everything while we can, and I really enjoy it, take it all in, and just make sure that even though dad's not around, dad still loves him.
Yeah. And they know that.
Yeah.
Going on what you said before about like bodybuilding being selfish and this sort of stuff, I think that's a thing in life too. And it's like, Tim Grover.
I know the name.
So Michael Jordan's coach, Kobe Bryant's coach, rest his soul. 2 books. Relentless is his first one, and Winning is his second one. Highly recommend, especially with your athletic background. You would absolutely froth these books.
Yeah.
Read them and listen to them. Anyway, I digress. There's a part he says in these books where it's like selfish. Even me saying selfish, it sounds so evil. Jeremy, you're so selfish. It's just like, don't call me selfish. It's like, well, I am. Because if I can't be selfish and look after myself, how am I meant to look after you? How can I look after Sin? How can I look after Carly, Hudson, Goldie, Hazel? How can I look after my network if I myself am not 100% right? So he talks about it, and it's like, yes, Jordan was incredibly selfish, but he also got his team 6 or 7 rings or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? So, and he demanded the best out of them. So I'm probably bad example to a point, but like there might have been parts where I was probably too selfish, which could have led to my separation, which we've spoken about before. But at the same time, like me being as healthy as I am and as driven as I am the last couple of weeks, fatty, as driven as I am with business and finance or with my kids, like I am that dad that when I'm at the park, the phone is down and I'm like lifting them up on the monkey bars, all this stuff where you see the other dad that's sitting down there and on their phone or eating or whatever it may be. But like me being selfish to look after myself and go to the gym, or hey, I'm going to go have dinner with Jeremy because I need my man time. I come back and be exactly what you said. I'm a better father, I'm a better partner if I had a partner, better best friend, better son, all this sort of stuff because I'm selfish. But it's right, isn't it? Like you say, selfish, it's evil. It just sounds evil.
Because it's like exactly what you said. It's like we've grown up to thinking selfish is bad.
Yeah.
But when you really look into it, like I think it's a fantastic example. It's like when you do look after yourself and consider to be selfish, I suppose, you're a much better person. Everyone wants to be around you. You can give a lot more. And it's like, he's not that selfish. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing with his kids. Look how he is as a friend. Look how he is as a son. Look how he is as a partner. That's not selfish. Yeah, there are definitely times in bodybuilding where it's like, and one of the things is probably the hardest thing is trying to balance your food, your training, your cardio, your posing, along with trying to be a supportive partner, trying to be a caring and loving dad. And it's not like you don't care or you don't support, but there are just, there's times where you're constantly ticking of like, what do I need to eat next? What do I need to do this? And you find yourself not being present in that moment. And there have been times where I've had to pull myself up on it. And, Sin has pulled myself up on it. It's just like, you need to be more present. And it's so true. You things go so fast despite how long the dieting and stuff might go through. But you're going to miss out on these moments, miss out on the moments with the kids, miss out on the moments with your partner. Like just as simple as sitting on the couch watching a movie together.
Bliss.
It's the best feeling.
Yeah.
And it can really, sometimes the prep can really put a stale taste on it with, if you're constantly thinking, I've got to eat in 20 minutes or I've got to prepare this. And that's where I found myself as well. Moments where I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I need to do this. I need to do that. And you can't actually just turn yourself off and then just be present.
Yeah.
And it was, there's been some tough days. There's been some tough weeks, but like I said, going back to being supportive, having a supportive partner and communication, you work through it.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky that, Sins tells me things that I don't always want to hear.
Yeah,
Needs to
perfect.
hear.
Yeah.
She pulls me up on certain things, calls me out on certain things. Hey, pull your head in. I need that. I need someone to be like, pull the reins back, man. Like you need to chill out, be present.
That's also like, sorry to cut you off. That's also like what you said before earlier about that support network. I do that to you. You do that to me.
Yeah.
Like, we're best mates, but at the same time, it's like, bro, you're wrong, this.
Mm.
And you're like, oh, wow, you're right. I didn't see it from that angle.
Exactly.
And then it's not like, at no point, I'm like, fuck, how dare Jeremy speak to me like that?
Mm.
It's just like, appreciate you, bro.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, and when she says these things, or when you say those things, I'm like, asshole. You know, I was like,
But they're right.
and I was like, exactly. I was like, oh my God, he's right. Or it's like,
Yeah.
oh, she's right. You know, and then, you know, I apologize.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky.
So let's stay on Sin for a sec, because obviously I know she's had an incredible impact on your life since walking in 2 years now.
Yeah, coming up to
Give or take. Yep.
Yeah.
When are you marrying that woman, man? Come on, like, hurry up.
She's
Oh, really? Sorry. Shit. Hey, Sin. Camera pans to Sin. Obviously, like, you hear it a lot, you know, relationships struggle during prep.
Mm.
I know Sin has competed a couple of times. Yourself has. Have you ever done a prep together?
No, but
That's kind of like the test what people say, isn't it? You know,
that's the
but
potential thing. But look, we're going to Japan in like 40 days or something like that. And
I'm coming
apparently
too. She didn't tell you? Like, I'm coming too. I'm the third wheel.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
That's
great.
all right.
We're going to push her aside. Yeah.
Anyway,
What were we
Sorry.
talking about?
I don't know.
I'm just thinking about you and I in
started
Japan
picturing
hanging out
you and
now.
I in Harry Potter world with matching robes.
Yes. Just the robe, nothing else.
Just the robe and the wands.
No. So again, like I said, that's the relationship between you and Sin.
Yes.
You know, even like whether it's her in prep
Mm.
at the start of the year, you in prep now. Some relationships struggle, and I'm sure you've had your little moments or whatever, but like, how do you balance, for example, if one of you is in prep, working, you've got your kids, she's literally jumped in and just taken on stepmotherhood like that, for example.
Yeah.
And I understand he's really great with the babies, which is awesome.
Fantastic.
But at the same time, like, yeah, how do you balance that? Do you still have your time? You know, that's the thing sometimes where, yes, there's kids involved, there's work, there's prep. You can't go out for dinner because you're eating this. Like, how do you connect still?
Well, because we both live quite busy lives. She works 2 jobs.
Vet, nurse.
And bless her, when she was maybe 6 weeks out, 4 weeks out, she's like, hey, babe, I got a job rolling cookies for this lady.
I remember you telling me
And
that.
I'm just like, are you sure? And
Are you
God
sure you're not
bless
just
her.
hungry, Sin?
God bless her. She would come home smelling like butter and still being able to get her stuff done.
You're like, I'm going to hug you now because you smell like butter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I licked her fingers.
PG episode, mate. Come on.
I was talking about wands and stuff before, and I wasn't necessarily talking about the ones that are casting spells.
Love it.
But look, the thing is, we have a very good at communication. Communication is absolutely key. And there's going to be times in any relationship, regardless you're in bodybuilding or not, some days it's going to be 50-50. Both of you pulling the same sort of weight. Some days are going to be 70-30. One person's going to have to really take on a bit more responsibility while the other one is dealing with something and they can't give as much into the relationship. And then it might pull back. It's a lot of balancing, but as long as there isn't too much weight up on one person for too long,
Yeah.
because everyone's got their limit. I find we both do that very well. And in terms of trying to find our time for each other at nighttime, even though, you know, now she's studying as well. She's working 2 jobs and now studying personal training, getting a cert 3 and 4. So there's 2 days a night of the week where she comes home at like 9 o'clock. And I've been up since, 5 doing all this stuff. She's been up since 4 in the morning and some nights as well. And then we both get home and all we want to do is just try and get our stuff done and then be able to have that moment together.
Yeah.
And even if it's just for an hour, try and put the phones away, try and be present with one another. There's been times where it hasn't always gone as planned, but we try and really try and make that time for one another because it's extremely important. Even just going to bed, no TV, just laying down, holding one another, and just having that, 20 minutes just before we fall asleep because we're absolutely hunted. So,
Yeah.
it's just being able to find those times where even if it's for an hour, just be present with one another, show how much we love each other, show how much we appreciate each other. And that's what we constantly do. And, it hasn't been the first prep. Her and I weren't living together at the time. So it was different in that sense. So you'd only see some parts. of, you know, the struggles and whatever the other person's gone through prep. Then started living together. She did a prep. We actually both started doing a prep, and then she did a prep, and then, you know, it was her first prep.
Was very successful in that first prep.
Very
too,
successful,
right?
yeah.
Fantastic.
Very, very good. Very, very good prep. But, you know, me being able to help guide her in those ways, I believe has helped her as well. And, you know, there's, you know, moments where it was very hard for her and hard for me, but, you know, I've been through that before, and she supported me through that before. So I would do my best to not be like, hi, bitch, or whatever like that. And, you know,
Well, you can bounce off it because you've been there. You can offer the advice to go, I know this is what you're feeling.
Exactly. And that's why, like, I try not to take too, like, certain things too personally, like, because, you know, you constantly think about meals or think about this, think about that. And then it's like you sort of forget, oh, I got to be in a relationship, or I got kids to look after, or I got, you know, friends and whatever, I got work, you know. And being able to have someone to help, you know, support you through that is very, very good. And it's been the same with me. And this prep, there has been weeks where there's been really good, and there's some weeks it's been not so good. And at the end of the day, we still communicate. What can I do better? What can I do better this week? I know you're low in energy in this week. It's okay. I'll look after this. I've got you. And then as long as I go, she's helped me through this, I got to do my part and show my appreciation. Whether it's just a message, whether it's just her in the kitchen after cutting up my potatoes, I come home, give her a hug, kiss. Thank you for doing my potatoes.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Small, tiny things. Yeah.
Just small things. Those small things are massive to people.
Yeah.
You know, like you go, you know, they're walking down the street and you go, hey, hey to someone, or have a great day. You know, we've spoken about that before, and you don't know what that person has gone through that day, and you smiling and saying, have a great day, or, hey, like, love your tattoos, you know, new tattoo, love it. That hits someone different. It's like, oh, I've forgotten what I was pissed off about.
Yeah. Yes.
This guy has made, you know, it can change someone's whole view on their day.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in relationships. It's like, you know, she doesn't mind cutting up my potatoes. She doesn't mind doing whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, as long as I show my appreciation, it goes a long way. And it's just like, just it's something as easy as a thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Really, really goes a long way.
Makes a difference.
Massive difference. Massive difference.
And makes you want to do more for her because of stuff like that.
It does.
And then vice versa.
100%.
And that's when it works and connects, right?
And that's exactly it. It's like the more you give, and like you will receive. And it's not like I'm doing it
because of this. Yeah.
Because of this, it is because I love her. I love to do this for her. And she does the same for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's like, and I said this on the same episode with Jackson, so forgive me for repeating it, but it's like, it's one thing that I really resonated with what Tony Doherty said years ago in a seminar I did with him. And it was like, put your hand up, not put your hand out. You know, which makes sense, right? So it's not like, what can you give me? It's like, what can I help you with? Because you'd be surprised that, like, when that comes back at you. So you're not like you said, you're not doing it to get something.
No.
Because sometimes isn't that kind of what life's about? Like you help someone out, you feel really good. That's that happiness feeling now. So it's like, oh, great, I feel really good about helping that person. And then 2 weeks later, like, hey man, like, do you want to do this? It's like, oh, cool, a great opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess it's going down that thing where so many different things lead to opportunities if you just kind of, you know, like I said, say yes more. I've said that a few times as well. But at the same time, you know, you and I have said it before where I think, like, arrogance aside, you said you've envied some of my, I guess, thought process to just jump into shit where you're like, I wish I could do that, but I kind of pull back a bit. But at the same time, a lot of the time it doesn't pay off and I end up on my ass, but then sometimes it does. So it's like, it's that mixture, right?
But it also goes back to that what if thing.
Yes.
And for yourself, you're one of those guys, you're like, I put all my cards out on the table. If I fold, I fold, like, you know, but at least I know I gave it a red hot crack.
And then try and own it. If I fucked up, I'll own it.
Exactly.
Just walk around it. Yeah.
100%.
What's the next thing?
See people drop on the catwalk, they get up and it's like straight face. No, I didn't fall.
Yeah. But even, and that's what I mean, like, so me trying to start this podcast and have a bit of fun, talking to some mates, this sort of stuff, get some cool footage with Alex. That in itself led to us doing that really cool routine. Alex had an idea and he's like, I've got this really fucking sick idea, but I haven't found the right athlete to do it with. I go, what is it? And it's like a cinematic posing routine. I'm like,
I
do you know
pose.
who the fuck I am?
I pose.
I was like, what do you want me to do? And then he sent me some songs and it's like, come up with something. I was like, sweet. I'm like, I'm done. And he goes, what do you mean? I sent it to you like an hour ago. I was like, this routine's done. Let's go. Where are we going? Some abandoned warehouse and disclosed information. Can't tell you where we were.
Amazing.
But that led to this really cool stuff. And he filmed it so beautifully, man. So he's here behind me. I had to like prop him up a little bit. Hey, bud. And we're going to do more shit together.
Yeah.
Aren't we? So, like, you know what I mean? It's just that sort of stuff as well. So, I'm going to digress really fucking randomly here and ask you a really random question.
Please do.
What are you afraid of? Or is there anything you fear? Because I got my own take on this I'd love to share with you, but I want to know if you're afraid of anything.
Besides sharks.
Yeah. It's a great answer. We'll just leave the podcast there. See you later. Thanks for joining us.
Sharks. No, look, I think a lot of it goes into what if.
Yes.
And being on my deathbed, or life's so short, and not being at that moment where I'm like, I've missed out on so much opportunity.
Yep.
And a lot of it going back to, you know, my story about getting into the bodybuilding side of things and being able to push myself for that show in 2023, leaving a past life behind to, you know, for myself in a way, like we're talking about selfishness, has made me into, you know, a much better and more confident person. But, you know, there was this band, one of my favorite bands, one of the guitarists passed away. He was 24, I believe, 25 years old. I'm like...
Was he a friend, did you say? Or
he wasn't a friend. He was one of my favorite bands.
Gotcha. Sorry, yeah.
He was a guitarist, such a young guy, passed away. And I'm like, he's barely lived his life. Yeah, he's doing what he loved, but like he was doing what he loves, but he still like didn't live a full life. And I'm like, could I live my life the way that I am now? Am I going to be happy? Short answer was no. And then, yeah, it's just about taking more risks. Life.
Calculated risks, right?
Calculated risks. It's probably the most calculated I've been. It's like... maths, no. Life, yes. I try, and decisions.
I don't like the whole, you know, that thing, like burn your bridges. Like, you know, you can't. There's kids there. There's money there. You can't just put everything into one thing, because if that fucks up, then I'm gone. So the whole burn your bridges, I get it. But I think it's very, very outdated.
Look, to be fair, that bridge I burnt, I'm happy it's staying burnt, to be honest.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know how many bridges I've crossed and exploded.
But yeah, it was just like being able to start living my life the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
And still be able to balance everything, still be the best that I can be, still be the best partner I can be, still be the best version I can be, you know. So I think a lot of it is just having no regrets as such. Doing everything the best I can. Because I know if I do everything the best I can, and you know, God forbid I die, I know I did everything I could.
Yeah.
Kind of same when you get up on stage. Come dead last. Well, I know I did everything I could. And whatever happened that day, happens. That's life. You don't know what's going to happen. Don't know what's going to happen as soon as we leave the studio. Might have a flat tire. Could get pissed off about it. Would probably get pissed off about it. We'll get pissed off.
You would now. You're pretty hungry still. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. But anyway, like there's certain things you can control in your life, and there's certain things like can control and how you react to certain things. So it's being able to appreciate what you can, I suppose, not appreciate, but where am I going with this?
So I'll touch on that in a way, because like it sounds very similar to my reason. The whole what if is regret, right? You really don't want to like be in your deathbed with regret, right? But also how you react to things. It's very similar to, and I mention all the time, the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, great book.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that quote that life is 10% of what happens and 90% of how you react to what happens. So if I'm in a car and a flat tire, whatever it may be, fuck me, flat tire, everything bad happens to me. Where it's like, oh, that's right, I'll just call OCBO, they can do it. I'm 5 minutes late. Jez, I won't make the session tonight, I'll do this, and it's fine. Two completely different reactions. You can imagine which is the happier dude in life and which isn't. But the whole thing about regret. And what you said before about leaving here, you never know what's going to happen. I'll touch on this very briefly, and I want to respect this guy's privacy, but I told you, a very close mate of mine for about the last 12 months, client, recently got diagnosed with a terminal cancer. Right? He's 28 years old. He wants to come on the podcast and share the story, so I will leave that story for him.
Yep.
But they've given him 10 months to a year. He's 28. Multimillionaire, very successful. 28, bro. I'm just getting that news. What the fuck do you do with that news? It's horrible. So it's like you said, just live your life, do what you want, because you literally never know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
A mentor of mine, this is what I wanted to share with you, and I think I probably have. We speak every day anyway, so it's like, but for the viewers anyway. But a mentor of mine said that, like, let's say you are fearful of something, or you worry about something. I know certain things with what you've got going on personally that are playing on your head, right? I've got stuff that's always there. You think about that and what that is. Yes, it's a shitty problem, and it's like stressing me out. My heart rate's up, I'm sweating, whatever. And this is where, like, depends on the individual. We've both spoken about this before, where it's like, I like to go spiritual with my thoughts sometimes. I'm not a believer in God or anything like that, but I'm a believer in the universe and energy and what I put out there and this sort of stuff. But his sort of thought process was like, transform yourself. All right. So you close your eyes on a bed, and you got to do this properly. You really got to do it properly. 10 minutes or so, right? You close your eyes on a bed, silent room. You transform yourself into like an 80, 85-year-old version of yourself, like you said, on your deathbed. And then you just play out a scene, right? And it's like, you kind of have fun with it. So it's like, oh, what color are the curtains? They're white. What's the nurse's name that's looking after me? Jess. She's got blonde hair. She's got a nice little necklace with a peace symbol here. She's wearing a wedding ring. She's 35 years old. She's married. Her husband's name is David, whatever it may be. She's got 4 kids. And it's like, what perfume she's wearing? She's wearing this. It's like, oh, your hair looks nice. I've got Huddy on this side. I've got Goldie on that side. Hazel here. Carly's even in the room, talking about all these things. And then Huddy comes up to me and he's like, you did good, Dad. You did good. And then you kind of like open your eyes. You're like, what the fuck was I worried about? Like, that's nothing. I don't want to die. I don't want to be in that scene. I'm painting this scene, but I don't want Huddy to say like, Dad, you did good. You can let go now. No, I don't want to die yet. I'm afraid of death. I don't want to die yet. Like, no, I'm loving this sort of shit. So you sort of transform yourself back to this where we are right now having a chat before the flat tire.
Yeah.
I hope you don't have a flat tire.
I really
Can you imagine? But then it's like, what was I worried about? It's just a fucking flat tire, bro. Like, who cares?
Is it really going to affect you? It's really not.
No.
It's really not.
No.
But how you react to it, it's like it's like same sort of thing. Traffic lights. I'm getting every red light. Every red light. You're really not. You got 2 in a row, and you sort of crack the shits because you need to be somewhere. It's the same sort of thing with life. It's like the stuff that I've gone through, stuff that you've gone through with kids, family, and you're like, you can react a particular way. And there's been times where I've reacted a particular way, and I'm like, probably shouldn't have done it. There's more mature ways about doing it. I learn from it. Yeah. I move on.
Yeah.
And then I react a different way. And then growth. It's a part of growth. Being around better people.
Yeah.
You can react better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas 100%. Like constantly, like I was, like I said, angry, frustrated because you felt so restricted about doing things. Everything sort of sucked. And then like any small thing was big because that's what you're around. And it's very important to be around good people. Not same sort of goals, but goal-driven, same stuff as you. So then you feed off that. Like you said, you talk about the universe, the energy you put out, you're going to get it back. You put negativity out, you're going to get negativity back. So I'm a big believer in that. Cynthia actually helped me a lot.
You still got to teach me on that. Was it the 333 or you said something? You've got to send me. You've got to send me it.
It's crazy. Like
remind him.
It's crazy. Like when I was going through everything I was going through.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sin, which is like, look into angel numbers, look into these meanings, and I started seeing 777 a lot. So 777 to me and Cynthia means a lot. It means luck, essentially.
Yeah.
So I got it tattooed.
Yeah.
Both got it tattooed because it means so much to us.
Yeah.
So every time we see 777, or for me anyway as well, I'm just like,
yeah.
It hits different. But, looking at the angel numbers and things saying how they align, and then, you can put in, I'm on the right track. I'm all right, and it gives you, instead of like, I suppose, this like a negative sort of thing, or if you're going through some shit and you see a sign from somebody, that people say, ask for signs. It's like, I need to see a yellow bird or something like that. It's just like, give me a sign. So seeing these numbers can be very reassuring. And it's funny, like when we come here, I always see a lot of angel numbers through prep, through peak week, angel numbers, through all of my last peak week, triple ones all the time. And it's like, trust your gut, trust your intuition. So I did. And no, I didn't get the result that I wanted, but I woke up the next day with so much gratitude because of how proud I was of myself, because I knew I was going to do good. All I wanted to do was just bring my best. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
So having things like that have really helped me. I help the viewers at home if they're into that sort of thing or want to look into that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I know we've discussed about it before as well. So,
it's funny because like the previous Ryan, I wouldn't have been into that stuff. But after going through like separation or this sort of thing or whatever it may be, you sort of, you just open your mind and your heart to other things. And it's almost like you're trying to, I think because you're so upset and so depressed over certain things that you're like, what can make me happy, or what can make, I guess, change my mindset moving forward,
100%.
So that I'm not always, I guess, thinking about the darkness like we spoke about. It's like, what are the, I don't know, maybe just, how do I put it? It's like I believe in more now.
Yeah.
It's like, not saying I might believe in ghosts and stuff. I don't know, maybe I'm open to it, whatever. But just like the spiritual side of things that we spoke about, it's like, why not? Why isn't there stuff out there? But it's also like you said, how you view it and how you believe it.
It is. And like with any sort of darkness comes light. It's like, the whole, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes you're like, I feel like I've been seeing that light at the end of the tunnel for quite some time, but there is always that light at the end of the tunnel.
It's a long fucking tunnel, bro.
It's a long bloody tunnel.
Yeah.
It was like when I saw that light, it's just a crack on the side.
It's not
the actual end of the tunnel.
God damn it.
But it's with every sort of struggle, there is a positive. And that's what I think we also got to look at. It's like there's a reason. And another thing Cynthia taught me, it's like instead of having your mindset of why is this happening to me, maybe look at it as what is this teaching me?
Yeah.
And you go, it's going to be teaching me to be more patient.
Yeah.
It's going to teach me that, we're going to be stronger coming through this, many, many things. So there's been a lot of things that I've learned through her that has kept me going, helped me push myself. Like I feel like I'm quite a resilient person from a lot of things that I've been through in my life.
100%.
But you can always learn so much more. And it also comes around to the people that you surround yourself by. When I first met you, lining up, getting tanned, and it's like, hey man, I'm Ryan, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, I'm Jeremy. I was just like, Nick Minnow, we're like best mates.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
not
it's a day that's gone past since 2023 October. We haven't connected in some way.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah. But it's like, it's crazy how...
I was secretly just sussing out my competition because I knew you won South Australia. I was like, who's this guy? My buddy kneecapping backstage and see what happens. Yeah.
Like,
and he beat me in his second show and I've done 40. Great.
It's only because I'm young. But, it's crazy how you meet people in your life. People come and go. Like high school friends, some still might be there, some might not be. Primary school friends in general. Like some people come and go. And then you meet these new people. And because we're constantly changing, we're constantly developing ourselves as people, you meet these new people that teach you something new every day. Like you taught me, one thing I admire about you is like how you can be a single parent, look after 3 kids, do your training, own a businesses, podcasts. And I'm just like, how can you do this? Like, I have my moments where I'm
just a lot of cocaine to keep me up at night.
Oh, that's the secret.
There you do now. Hey,
no.
I don't do drugs. Just test. Okay.
It's natural.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's things that I've learned from you that I apply to myself and my own fatherhood. Like, the Easter egg thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a great idea. Did it with my kids.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Dad, these are best chocolates. Oh, sprinkles. Like everyone, I'm just like,
you're like, I want sprinkles.
I want
Thinking
sprinkles.
about the chocolate, I'm just going to put sprinkles down my face.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that I pick up from yourself, and then, not only just as a father, but then as a man, like as a genuine human being, like how your positive outlook on life and certain things. And I'm just like, yeah, it's like, like it's true. And it's like same with Sin when I met her as, and then started talking to her and I'm like, wow, I've learned to be able to open up myself and be vulnerable. Whereas I wasn't before.
Yeah.
So you learn all
Same.
these different things when you meet new people and people come and go, like I said, but the real ones really stay and there is a reason why they're there.
Yeah.
To help guide you through all these different things in life.
I remember even, so this is, and I agree with what you said about the whole, you just never know, like everything happens for a reason, whatever. That 2023 show that we met, I nearly didn't do that. Right. So like, again, like I recently separated from the wife or whatever, and I'd start another business with Resilient, whatever, but it's like, hence the name Resilient. But I need a distraction. So I said to Scott, he's like, I might just prep again. He's like, you sure? I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it. So I started dieting and then did all those shows. Well, not all, I only did the VIX and the Nationals, but that's when I met you there. So what if I didn't do that?
Exactly.
We wouldn't, would the universe have still brought us around to be here and still chat in some other way? Or
see, I like to believe that.
Yeah.
And like, I tell Cynthia, I'm like, we met when we were meant to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could wish we met each other earlier, but there is a reason why we met. And then we've spoken about what if we didn't meet that day? I would like to think we'd meet at some other point in our life.
Yeah.
Because that connection that we have, and I'm trying not to get emotional, but it's just meant to be.
Yeah.
And it always has been.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen when you want it to.
Yeah.
But it happens at the right time. And that's why I believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Timing is like massive, like it's crucial, like with certain things in your life. It's like there's a reason why this particular person enters your life. There's a particular reason why that person is out of your life. There's a particular reason why you need to push that person away or these people away because they're not good for you. There's always a reason.
I think it's funny, I probably shouldn't admit this to both of you, but I sometimes find myself watching that video at the gym where you didn't know and you were like posing and she's come up behind you and jumped on you and you were just like, I'd find myself watching that and almost crying. I'm like, I just want that to happen to me, damn it.
Mate,
where's my girl to hug me in the gym when I'm doing a rear double bicep show?
Mate, that was one of the most...
You didn't know, did you?
No.
No, that's what was so beautiful and raw about it, man.
No fucking clue.
Yeah.
Like, it was my birthday and it was peak week. I had Taylor and Corey doing a little, like, I will do like some content stuff, kind of like what we do in like in your peak week and get a bit of footage and stuff like that. I spoke to her in the morning. She's like, hey babe, I thought I'll contact you now. I'm going to be at work. I won't be able to talk to you because we're flat out today with surgeries and stuff like that. Cool, no worries. I'm just going to be at the gym with Corey and Taylor. We're going to get some snaps. It's like, it's on my birthday. She's like, oh, I wish you could be there on your birthday, do something special. And it's like, nah, it's cool. I had like scrambled eggs and I put candles in my scrambled eggs as like my little birthday cake. And no joke, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden just posing and I'm like, is that? And she's just come running to me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, man. Nah.
Yep.
Reason why I brought it up, baby.
Yep.
Special, man.
Someone's
very
got
special.
onions. But
yeah, very special.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have that. It's very special.
Yeah. No one's ever done anything like that.
Yeah. It's pretty special. I knew this would happen. We'd sit here and fucking talk and we could go for about 3 more hours, man. We are out of time. We've got an hour.
We go for 3 days. We're going to end myself on crying or something.
I know. But no, I do want one more thing. I want to bring it back around to bodybuilding because that's what you are.
Yes.
Well, no, I shouldn't say that. You're not a bodybuilder. You're in everything. You're a beautiful, beautiful human. But it's like coming into nationals now, win, lose, draw, whatever it may be. What's the headset going into it? And then what's next after that?
Have fun.
Yeah, good.
Have fun.
Yeah.
There's going back to what I was saying earlier about worrying about people who are going to arrive, worrying about other people, worrying about what the judge is going to think. Yeah, you're going to have to size up your competition to a degree. But and this is what I say to a lot of people as well, especially if they're going to get into bodybuilding, why put all your energy into someone else when all that energy could be going into you? That energy could be going into your posing, your training, your dieting, everything, your confidence on stage. I respect every competitor. At the end of the day, it's the classic you versus you. So And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be me up on that stage, having fun, doing my absolute best, showing my best yet. And I'm content with that.
In the fucking moment.
In the fucking moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. Present.
Yeah.
And that's what pretty much from now is just being present, being focused on myself. Don't care what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
What they might be looking like. That's them.
Yeah.
I'm putting that energy into me. And I'm going to have fun.
Yeah.
Whatever happens on the day, it's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I know I've done my absolute
Small
best.
part of your life.
It's a small part of your life. It doesn't define who I am.
Yeah.
That's like I said, a third placing trophy or medal doesn't define who I am, what I brought that day. I had people going, oh, so you're going to still do nationals? Fuck yeah. Why wouldn't I? Oh, you know, you came third.
You didn't win.
So?
I want to compete with the best and see where I'm at, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And you know you're going to be better a month later anyway.
A lot can change in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot can change. I don't think I look bad at all. There's always improvements.
Yeah.
It's so rare you can be peaked perfectly. It's so rare. And like I thought, you know, like I said, we look fantastic.
As good as you could put up, yeah.
But it's as good as we could put up. And we thought it would be enough on the day. Wasn't. That's okay. Back to the drawing board. We try again. We come in fuller. And at the end of the day, we're going to make them look and go, oh, maybe he wasn't third.
Yeah. That's a great way to finish. Maybe he wasn't third. Where's that pro code? How does it fit?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Jeremy and myself. We're going to go take about 4 Romerson because it's been an emotional episode. But yes, give us a follow. Give Jez a follow. Where can they find you? It's just Jeremy Allison.
Jeremy Allison.
J-Bum.
_ J-Bum.
Yeah.
The old, I don't even know how they came across. Someone said that I had a very similar physique to C-Bum. And
I think C-Bum has a similar look to you, let's be honest.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I just came up with this, J-Bum. And then like, it's funny because it's not, it sounds very arrogant and I hate to put myself up against the GOAT, but it's when you go through these things like a prep, you almost have to create this persona.
Yeah.
This new character of yourself, this confidence.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do.
How do you think I got through 7 shows in 6 weeks? I had to think I was a god.
You are.
Thanks, babe. I was fishing for that.
I got it. But you know what I mean? You have to have that persona. You have to have that fun. It's not who I am. That's like, you know, talking about Chris. He's Christopher.
Mm.
I'm Jeremy. But then to other people, he's he's C-Bum.
Yeah.
He wishes he's J-Bum.
Yeah.
He's C-Bum. That's his alter ego.
Yeah.
And I found that, and it was like, J-Bum, my alter ego.
Yeah.
That's completely fine.
And it works.
Yeah. And that's like, I spoke to my mate about it, and then I'm like, I'm not sure if I should do that. And he's like, nah, fuck it.
Own it.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Own it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
I love you.
I love you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Good luck on the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Bring it home for us.
Will.
Maybe Sin as well. Bring it home for her too.
Yeah.
See you soon. Peace, guys. Love you.